Good afternoon. Please be seated. I am Michael Clement, the chair of the Department of Accounting here at the University of Texas. We come here today to celebrate the achievements of these students who have completed the requirements for the MPA degree. So let's give them a little bit of... It is a pleasure to welcome family members and friends of this group of students to celebrate with us today. We are fortunate here at the University of Texas to have such a strong tradition in our accounting department. This year, we celebrate our 72nd anniversary as an MPA degree and 108 years as an accounting department. Over the years, we have crafted a first-class program. Our program is regularly ranked #1 by both U.S. News and World Report and the Public Accounting Report. Our CPA exam pass rate is also one of the highest in the country. Over the last 8 years, we've had at least one member of our class be recognized with the Elijah Watt Sells Award. In 2018, you'd have to be 1 out of 1,000 test takers to get that award. In 2018, we actually had 3 graduates who won that award. So that's a very prestigious award. So to get that award, you have to pass the exam your first time with an average score of 95% or better. Okay, so that's quite an accomplishment. Every year, we survey our graduates as they leave the program, and this year, 94% have either accepted offers or received offers between our May and August graduates. Not surprisingly, 73% of those offers are in Texas, but we also have students who've accepted offers across the country. Some of our students have accepted offers in places like Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Denver, Phoenix, Seattle, Washington, D.C. We even have 9 students who accepted offers in California and 14 in New York City. And I know there's at least one student who accepted a position in London. Okay, so we are truly global. Among the students here, 73 of you have either studied abroad or will study abroad. And so that gave you a chance to see up close and personal what our global economy looks like. You could also see the value and the reputation, the worldwide reputation of a UT accounting degree. So students, soon the world is going to know about you what your professors already know. And that is that you're an exceptionally great set of Longhorns. You're one of the best groups of Longhorns that we've seen, and the world's going to know that pretty soon. And so, yes, the eyes of Texas are upon you, and they're mighty proud eyes indeed. With that, I'd like to introduce our Dean, Dean J. Hartzell. Sorry, Dean. Don't fire me. I'm new and I'm trying to keep my job and have a family I have to feed. So it's my first time. So Dean J. Hartzell, Dean of the McCombs School of Business.
Thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here, and you're not going to get fired that easily. I want to say thanks to Michael for leading this department. When you come from other departments across the school, you know about the accounting department by reputation and as colleagues, and then you get to see it as a dean, and it's just a tremendous department, group of faculty, group of staff, and an amazing program. So thanks for leading it, Michael. Thank you all for being here. Graduates, I'm so delighted to congratulate you on this wonderful achievement. Graduation is truly an exciting time. It represents the end of a long journey, but also the beginning of new opportunities. On top of lives that were already full and challenging, students here today chose to pursue an MPA degree, which is, as we know, not an easy task. So I can say with much confidence that you have earned this celebration, and you should all be proud of your hard work. You should be especially proud of your work because, as you know, and as Professor Clement just discussed, this program is world-renowned. It hit me yesterday. I was doing the BBA commencement, and I remarked that we are the top business school in the top state and the top country in the world. Here today, I can say this is the #1 ranked program in the top business school in the top state, the top country in the world. So congratulations on that. What makes this place so special, I think we are quite simply in the talent business. So having the best accounting program means bringing together the best talent we can possibly assemble. Our faculty, our staff, and as a group, you're now leaving our students, but also a group you're now joining our alumni. To that end, as you have all now come to appreciate, our MPA program boasts first-rate faculty. So please join me in thanking the faculty. As we discussed, and as Professor Clement talked about, we also have the best and brightest students. Graduates, your intelligence, your integrity, your dedication to excellence has been on display as you've pursued your degrees. And because of that, we are honored to have you represent the McCombs School of Business as you embark upon your careers. I look forward to seeing what journeys where your journeys will take you. I've seen many of our accounting graduates go on to do just simply amazing things. And I know that wherever life takes you, you'll continue to make a profound impact. We hope that you'll return to these 40 acres, share your stories of how you're learning, growing, and making a difference as you pursue successful careers in the accounting profession or whatever path you take in order to help change the world. Graduates, above all, I ask that you stay in touch, stay involved with the University of Texas and the McCombs School of Business. I say this because truly one of our best assets as a school is our alumni network. When alumni like you choose to invest in our network and give back to this elite MPA program, you're adding value to your degree, for you, for those who have gone before you, and for those who will go after you. Now, I'm pleased to introduce somebody who is a prime example of that way of giving back. Mr. Brian Smith is the Managing Director of Neuberger Berman and the Chief Operating Officer of the Neuberger Berman Private Equity Division. He's also a member of the firm's investment risk and operational risk committees. Prior to joining Neuberger Berman in 2001, Mr. Smith worked in the middle market private equity firm Mason Best Company LP and its affiliates. He began his career at Arthur Andersen and Company. But before all that, he earned his BBA, Bachelor's of Business Administration, and degree in finance in 1979, and his master's in public accounting in 1981 from the University of Texas at Austin. Mr. Smith is a life member of the McCombs School of Business Advisory Council at the University of Texas at Austin. He also currently serves on the board of the Texas Exes Alumni Association and chairs its investment committee. Perhaps his greatest achievement was marrying Ann, whom he met in a finance class, which are known to be romantic, at the university. They've been married for more than 40 years and have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. The university and we here at the McCombs School of Business are so proud to have Brian. He is an alumnus, and here to have him as our speaker today. On a more personal note, I often tell people that one of the great things about being dean of this school is I get to meet some exceptional people. Brian is an example of this, and it's been a pleasure to get to know him and to rely on his help and support in many areas. He's passionate about a wide range of programs and initiatives at UT. I first got to know him through the Hicks Muse Tate & First Private Equity Center. I know he has a passion around the Longhorn Band. He was trying to get a tuba hat. I don't know how that turned out. He got the tuba hat. That was a lifelong quest to get the tuba hat. But also serving, as I mentioned, on the Texas Exes Board of Directors. On a personal aside, and not to put too much pressure on him, but I've always enjoyed spending time with Brian. I learn from him with every conversation or encounter, appreciate his dry wit and analytic view of the world. It also turns out to be quite superstitious. I've learned a little bit about how he ties his ties and what colors he chooses to wear when he's trying to do certain things like raise money. I'm not sure what the right color or superstition is for a commencement speaker, but I'm really glad he's here. Brian, thanks for all you do for the school and university. Please join me in welcoming Brian to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, quick question. Jay indicated I'm on the Texas Ex board. If I go to the next board meeting and they ask me, How many of y'all have already signed up to be a new Texas X? Give me a raise a hand. All right, we got a few. So it's real easy. If you want to be a LinkedIn contact of mine, it's real easy, brian.smith@gmail.com. Find me on LinkedIn. Just say in the message, I signed up to be a Texas X, and I'll do anything I can to help you throughout your career as a fellow Texas Xer. Well, congratulations to this class of 2019 that is here today. I want to first tell you one thing. I'm not to blame. It's Dean Hartzell's fault. You see, you got the wrong Smith here today. Jay was intending to call Robert Smith and went into his Outlook contacts, and he hit the wrong contact by accident. I noticed when he called me, he was a little, Brian? Hey, Jay, what can I do for you? And then he asked me to do this speech. So I want you to think, if Jay's hand had been a little steadier, a little more accurate, you might not have any student debt. Who knows? As both Michael and Jay have said, you're graduating from the #1 accounting school in the country. It's been that way for 13 years. This program has dominated those rankings since I graduated with an MPA in 1981. Find me an Aggie program that does that. Michael, you and your team of faculty have a daunting challenge to continue that tradition. But with this outstanding faculty, its tradition of research and teaching, I don't think it's going to be a problem. If you ever question the quality of the UT brand, I want to tell you a couple stories. 8 years ago, about this time of year, I was walking in the Beijing airport. I was wearing a blazer not terribly dissimilar to the one I have on today. And on my lapel was a Longhorn pin, just as I wear it today. I wear this pin virtually whenever I travel for business and often in social events. But as I was walking towards security, a young Chinese man came running up to my side. He stopped, yelled, "Hook 'em horns!" I nearly jumped out of my shoes in shock. Now, I've traveled a lot for business. I've traveled a lot raising capital and investing capital. And I always kind of lived in a bubble when I traveled. Well, this intrusion into my bubble, I know my heart skipped a beat. Well, that was not the only time. This has happened to me in Dubai, Cape Town, Hong Kong, South America, and in major cities throughout Europe. People stopping, saying, "Hook 'em." Imagine that, anywhere in the world. You don't see that doing with a thumbs up anywhere, I'll guarantee you. Give you one idea. I'm sitting in Yakima, Washington with 10 families. Just, what are you doing in Yakima? Well, I'm trying to raise money. These families represented a co-op that produced almost all of the apples grown in Washington state. It's a great business. Because I was wearing this pin, we spent very little time talking about investments, and we spent basically the entire time talking about Longhorn football and its merits versus Washington Huskies. Well, I spent maybe 5 minutes talking about investments, but I got the capital. So tells you this pin works. In business meetings around the world, conversations start with something about Texas. Not necessarily the university, but something about Texas, because I'm wearing this pin. It's a great way to start a meeting, and it's a really easy thing to buy at the co-op. So get yourself a pin, gang. You likely leave here today with a job at a great firm, and you're entering an economy, an industry, and a culture that looks radically different than the one I entered in 1981. And it will be radically different 38 years from now when one of you might be doing this kind of speaking in front of a MPA graduating class, probably still in Gregory Gym. I want to share some points that Ann and I have learned through our journey that I think really can help you on yours. And my first point, my first point is, family is your most important priority. Some of you might not be in a relationship right now, but at some point I hope you're able to be. I met Ann, my lovely bride of 40 years, just across the street in the BEB building in a finance class. Early this morning, we tried to get into the classroom, because we both agree which classroom it was, to see if we could get in. The only person who has a key to that classroom is Jay Hartzell, according to everybody I talked to. And he wouldn't give me the key. After we graduated in 1979, I continued to work toward an MBA. But a 12-month torrid courtship resulted in marriage and a brief break in my graduate studies. That MBA became an MPA. And it became an MPA because a classmate told me one time, hey, CPAs always are employed. And if you think about 1979, 1980, interest rates were in their teens, unemployment was high, and making sure I could provide was pretty damn important. So during my MPA studies, Ann and I were very fortunate to participate in the class in the graduate school, offered only on Saturdays for no credit, and only to couples where one or both were enrolled in the Graduate School of Businesses. That course was taught by Dean George and his wife Rania Kosmetsky. This semester-long course was just like any other course I took in graduate school. It came with a syllabus, homework, and in the class we reviewed case studies that addressed the challenges of managing careers, family, and a changing culture in a very challenging corporate world. Many of these lessons came from their own experiences, founding companies, serving on boards, facing challenging press and public issues at a time where there wasn't even social media. Just imagine that. Ann and I were really lucky to have this experience. It gave us some of the tools that helped us really build and live our 40 years of partnership. So a couple of three things that came out of that class that stick with me from the Kosmetskys. First, create walls around your family. Insulate your family from insulating your family from what's going on in a harsh, digital, and almost immediate society we live in today allows those members to feel safe, protected, and secure. A protective framework around your family also means that work stays at work. Children don't need to know the stress that you're dealing with or your spouse is dealing with, and having that insulation really allows your family to have a strong, trusting relationships in a very safe environment. So remember, your family comes first. Second, I particularly remember Rania Kosmetsky talking about this. Allow each partner in the relationship to take their turn. Ann and I were an early two-career couple. And at sharing, Ann does a lot better job than I ever have. And that sharing is not simply about picking up or dropping off daycare, diapers, bath time, any of those things. It's about allowing each other to have the opportunity to make their interests the priority for both of you. It may be work, volunteering, or something family related, but taking turns makes you stronger. And it gives you valuable perspective as you look at others that you deal with in society. Whether both you and your partner or only one of you chooses to work, each of you should take turns to ensure the other gets their turn at achieving their priorities. Career conflicts are not insurmountable issues if you take turns. The last point I leave you with, stay on your path. Trust that the path you're carving out will be right for you and stay with it. In your 30s, others may appear to be more successful, happier, more financially secure than you. Well, just wait. In your 40s, you're going to see a different picture, and you'll see that staying to the path you carved for yourself has paid off professionally and personally. And of course, your path can and will change. It has for me, but it has through partnership with Ann. but only because you know it's the right thing for you should you change your path. Trust your judgment. You clearly already have great judgment. Look where you went to school. Right? The second point I want to leave with you is very simple. It's never as bad as you think, and it's never, ever, ever as good as you think. 38 years ago this weekend, Anne, then a bride of mine for only 17 months, we both thought we had it made. Oh gosh, it was great. I was on the last leg of my MPA. I'd be graduating soon. All of the big 8 accounting firms, yes, there were 8 at that time, were courting me. And I was thinking, for a guy who completed his first semester in the fall of 1975 with a stunning 1.2 GPA, I was doing pretty damn good. Yeah, 1.2, pretty damn good, huh? Do you know what? I want you to know. I can dig a hole and get out of it. At that point, I was a research assistant for Dr. Ray Sommerfeld, a leading professor in taxation here in the accounting department. I was proofing problems, running down citations for a new textbook he was writing. It was really a blessing to work for Ray. I learned so much more than textbook or academic knowledge being his assistant. And that more than book knowledge stays with me today. But Ray, without intending to do so, taught me really one very important lesson that took place outside of campus. That spring, he had asked Ann and I to house sit, well, really also child sit, for he and his wife Barbara as they undertook a round-the-world trip to review Arthur Young offices. Ray and Barbara had 2 daughters at that time. One had just left the house and a 15-year-old with a hardship driver's license. Feeling really good right now, huh? Our task was simple, or so we thought. Take care of the house, but more importantly, make sure the girls are okay. I was sure this would be easy. Ann was a bank examiner at the time, and I was beginning my summer session number 1 of my master's in accounting. The girls had been given strict rules of what they could and could not do, and our job was to enforce them. Well, that first night, Kristen, the 15-year-old, arrived home 1 hour after curfew. I didn't anticipate this. At that point, I was worried. I thought we were going to be in for kind of a wild ride here. When she walked in the door, without thinking, I blurted out, "If we lived in Denver, you'd be home on time. We don't, and you're not." Ann kind of asked, "Where'd that come from?" And I said, "I don't know." Well, I think she got the message. At least she seemed she did. And I quickly realized 2 important things. I could really screw this up, and I got a lot to learn about teenagers, that at a ripe age of 23. Well, the second day in the afternoon, Kristen informed us she was going to go to her girlfriend's house and promised to be home before 10. That was fine, I trusted her. However, that night was a record storm here in Austin. That night, 7 inches of rain fell in a few short hours. And 7 inches of rain at that time meant that the Shoal Creeks, the edge of the creek, was at the bottom of the light poles just by the creek side. That night, roads were washed out in Westlake. Over the evening, power, phones, and lives were lost. Many roads throughout Austin were impassable. And not surprisingly, Kristen was not home. We had no way to communicate with her. There was no texting, no cell phone, no Instagram. At some point during the night, the house actually began to take on water. The east wall of the living room became a waterfall. Ann and I stayed up all night, bailing water and wondering where the hell Kristen was. At one point, I looked at Ann and I said, "Well, we're ruined. The house is destroyed and we've lost the daughter." I didn't think it'd get much worse. Well, the next morning, the house still didn't have power, but old Ma Bell had her phone lines working right away. The phone suddenly rang. It was Kristen. She was safe and would be home. She'd stayed at a friend's house. She'd be home as soon as it was clear to get back to the house. Moments later, the phone rang. It was Dr. Sommerfeld. I can still recall his voice over a crackling international line. "Brian, Ray here. We're in Singapore. Heard you had some weather." How do you answer that question? Dr. Summerfield, your daughter's fine, but the house took on a little water. Immediately, Brian, we need to run. Thanks for the update. Over the next few days, we were living what I called an Old Testament verse. Mold began to grow down the living room wall where days earlier we had had a beautiful waterfall. And nothing I could do stopped that growth. Clouds of aphids consumed every house plant in the house that we were entrusted to keep alive. All the food in the fridge went bad. Okay? All we really needed now was a fire to complete the thing. Thankfully, there wasn't a fire. But Dr. Summerfield, out of the kindness of his heart, had offered me one more thing. And this was a privilege that even the professors here today would die for. See, he had this big four-door Lincoln. But more importantly, that four-door Lincoln had a faculty parking pass. He said, Brian, if you'd like, you can take my Lincoln to school, and you can park right on Speedway, right at the entrance to the BEB building. I was like, yes! Now, having survived the Old Testament, I was convinced once again I was on a great path. Perhaps predictably, for each of the first 3 days I drove that car to and from campus, it died and kept dying and kept dying. I got to know the auto repair shop really, really well across those 3 days. And after the third day, I said, third time's a charm, better stop. Now, getting back after that, I was kind of waiting for some form of pestilence to hit the Summerfield home. And I was convinced my career was gone. I was waiting for 8 blackballs to come from 8 public accounting firms. And I doubted whether I'd graduate successfully after all this disaster. Thankfully, for all involved, things settled down. And the Summerfields came home at the end of that fortnight. I got a phone call. Brian, Ray here. We're about 3 hours, we'll be home. And they had just come back from Europe and were, I think, in DFW. Well, by the time the Summerfields walked in the door that afternoon, I was a nervous wreck. Now imagine, you're just getting out of graduate school. This is a guy who can make or break you. And I've just destroyed his home. You know, Lord knows what's happened with the kids. I was a nervous wreck. That was the longest 3 hours of my life. So as Dr. Summerfield walks in, he asked a very innocent question. How'd it go? I unloaded a detailed, painstaking, play-by-play summary of nearly every moment of this biblical adventure. I remember every other sentence I said started with something like, well, Dr. Summerfield, I'm really sorry, but... Well, between apologies, he cut me off. Brian, it's fine. All that really matters is the girls are safe. And I suddenly realized to myself, I hadn't told him about missing curfew the first night. Well, I said, better left unsaid. But the important thing I learned is, through that fortnight, it was never as bad as I thought it was. It was never as good as I thought it was. And that lesson came back to me in 2008. There have been times in my life where I've thought it was too good to be true. And December of 2007 was one of them. I was working at a firm called Lehman Brothers. And we had had a blowout year. Well, that Christmas quickly became 2008. And I entered an experience that was the proverbial end of days. Most of you were not even driving in 2007, 2008, or 2009, I believe. And that time was grim. In March of 2009, there were open questions in the market, in the world, debating whether global financial markets would survive. In March of 2009, we literally went to the edge, and we thought it could simply collapse. During that time, from September of 2008 to March of 2009, in the financial service industry, we watched entire workforces simply disappear. They weren't in their building anymore. The firm was gone, and they scattered. Just to give you an example of how bad it was, in September of 2008, we were having multi-weekly calls with our clients, 2-3 times a week, giving them an update on everything. And the 1st of October call, I was on a call with a great set of clients, and one of my favorite clients cut me off and said, Brian, all this is fine, but when are we going to know what's going to happen? And I responded, Patricia, it's only been 2 weeks since Lehman failed. She said, really? It seems like it's been months. So you've been in those times where one day seems like a month. Imagine living that for a year. My third point to share with you is, and one to remember is, you're embarking on a marathon, not a sprint. Bill Meenan was the lead tax partner at Arthur Andersen when I was hired by the firm. He was an Irish Catholic from New York in their Dallas office and was a larger-than-life human to me. In looking back, I realized Bill taught me more than I could possibly absorb in the 5 years I worked at that firm. Brian, don't run out of gas, were one of his famous comments. Slow down a bit, Brian, because you're just in the first year of a 40 to 50 year journey. He reminded me that while I'd been in school about 18 years, that for the next 10 years, I was just in a different kind of school. He said, you might already think you know everything you need to succeed. You know how to work hard, I can see that, but you've got to learn how to work with others. You've got to learn how to work with clients, with bosses, with subordinates. And learning those skills over the next 10 years of your life, your career, is your working education. You're going to gain skills in the next 10 years that you don't even think about today, and they'll be valuable for the rest of your life. Bill also said one thing that sticks with me, and I think about it almost every week. He said, Brian, accounting is the language of business. You've learned a language by getting an accounting degree. And over the years, that description has stuck with me more than any other. The accounting and business concepts I learned at this university have served as critical tools throughout my business career. And Bill's words for a wet behind the ears soul just entering economy were priceless to me. This leads me to my final point. Make sure you say thank you. People's importance in your lives will become more apparent over time. And what you thank them for today will undoubtedly change. I told you these 3 earlier stories because I owe a great deal to these 4 people. Each left me with tools, guides, hints, and ideas that have been so valuable in my journey. But with each, I have a great regret. Looking back, I never said thank you to them adequately enough. Sure, I said thank you, but with the passage of time, I've realized how important they've been to me and how important their advice, guidance, and knowledge has been. And I've never taken the time to tell them why I'm grateful and why I'm thankful for them. And when you explain to someone why you're thankful for their help, it gives a different dimension to your relationship. It helps you better understand what you can do to help others. So I've learned that the gratitude you feel is something that becomes deeper and more complex. And it is integral in your journey that you find a way not just to say thank you to others, but tell them why you're thankful for their help. Because it'll make you a better person, and I think it'll help you with others as well. So just to give you an idea why I say that, when Jay asked me to speak today, I had to reflect on what I was going to talk about. Ann and I laughed in about 2 seconds, and we knew we were going to hear the Summerfeld story because I was convinced I'd never get a master's after that week. But it got me a chance to think about how grateful and thankful I am for those 4 people. So just think about that as you move forward. Now, remember, what starts here changes the world, and you are those agents of change. Finally, one more thing. Hook 'em horns.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate your words of gratitude. I think people who are happy about the things and realize the good things that happen to them have much happier and better lives. And so I really appreciate your message today. It's now my pleasure to introduce someone who we students all know, Professor Steve Smith. Professor Smith is the Senior Director of the MPA program. He's been on the faculty since 2007, and he's going to start the Student Awards program for us. Professor Smith.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Brian. So, and I wanted to say thank you for the song we shared as we were getting ready. I do appreciate that very much. That means a lot to me, and I'll never forget that. Congratulations. I'm very proud of each and every one of you. I know it's been a long journey, but you've accomplished a lot, and it shows. Commencement is a time for celebration and recognition, and I'm fortunate. I get to honor some students by handing out awards. And that's the part of the ceremony we'll get to now. As each award is announced, I invite the recipients to join me on stage to accept their award. The CPA Accounting Education Foundation sponsors an award for an MPA student who has demonstrated outstanding accounting knowledge. This year, the CPA Accounting Education Foundation Award goes to Adam Landefeld. So, in addition to this award, Adam's outstanding academic performance has earned him several scholarships, including the competitive Endowed Presidential Scholarship. According to one of his instructors, Adam is a natural leader and was always prepared for class with insightful questions. He was a delight to teach. He completed several internships during his time in McCombs, and during his first year as an MPA student, he assisted in founding the MPA Consulting Club. I had the pleasure of being Adam's first accounting professor almost 4 years ago, and happy to say that I didn't scare him away from doing accounting, so that I pat myself on the back. He will represent UT McCombs and the program very well as he starts his career with KPMG's Deal Advisory Group this fall. Adam, congratulations. The Federation of Schools of Accountancy sponsors an award for an MPA student who has excelled academically and shows promise as an outstanding professional. This year's recipient is Alec Weissman. In addition to several internships, Alec also worked as a TA for accounting professor Jeff Johans, who explained that Alec demonstrated dedication way above a typical TA by, among other things, volunteering to mentor a struggling student. Academically, Alec is among the highest performing MPAs with a graduate GPA of 4.0. And Alec, I think on the integrated side, it's the only graduate 4.0, so well done. That says a lot. According to another professor, Alec exemplifies everything we hope to see in our students, not only in his exam and paper performance, but also in his leadership skills and insightful participation. He is the kind of student a professor remembers many years later. He will join EY's Audit and Assurance Group this fall. Alec, congratulations. Each year, the MPA Council acknowledges a member of the traditional MPA class who has made an outstanding contribution to the program through personal character, class spirit, and campus involvement. I am pleased to present the Outstanding Traditional MPA Award to a student who has a great personality and is a friend to all. Her laugh is awesome. Her personality fits that laugh. It is a pleasure running into her in the hall. She is always a breath of fresh air. Her attitude is contagious, and McCombs is a better place because of her. Her work ethic is incredible, and she always has a smile on her face. Professor Leeds will miss her the most probably, as she's the only one that has ever laughed at his jokes. The Outstanding Traditional MPA Award goes to Emily O'Keefe. Two more to go. The James W. Dietrich Outstanding Faculty Award is given to a faculty member recognized as an outstanding professor by the 2019 graduating class. This year's winner has been described as the best professor I had during my UT education and one of the most personable professors I've met. And terrifying, but also I want to be her. Very few teachers are able to inspire students, pique their curiosity, and ensure they understand the material, quite like Professor Zivanakis. Professor Zivanakis pushes her students to be their best. Her classes may be challenging, but you can see how much she truly cares about her students and her passion for tax. Today, I'm honored to present the Outstanding Professor Award to Christina Zivanakis. So if you're counting, I think that's 3 in a row for Christina, so well done, Christina. We're going to name it after her now so that she can't win it anymore. So now the MPA program office would like to recognize one student who has gone above and beyond in supporting the program. This award recognizes an MPA student who demonstrates leadership and service that not only advances the causes of the MPA student body, but the mission of the MPA program. This year's award goes to Derek John. Derek has been an exemplary peer career consultant. In addition to his regular work in the office, reviewing resumes, reporting, and running case interviews for students, he has also created a legacy project, a consulting guide, handouts, and a webcast for future MPA students. He expertly and confidently led a consulting workshop, and he regularly goes above and beyond to help students by connecting with them on his own time. He has been a great resource for students and has always been more than willing to stop what he's doing to answer any questions students may have. Our relationship spans the last 4 years. I'm proud to say that I was Derek's first accounting professor and very happy he chose to be my grader and TA afterwards. He was incredible with the students and always went the extra mile. I can't even say how incredible he was as a TA. I look forward to hearing more about all the wonderful things you're going to do once you leave this place. Congratulations. As I wrap up, I'd like to recognize a couple groups of students that exemplify the MPA community. Firstly, will our MPA admissions ambassadors please stand up? The admissions ambassadors have helped with prospective students, the tours, the preview day, and numerous panels. We thank you for your time and dedication in helping the office and our future MPA students. Thank you very much. Secondly, I'd like to recognize this year's MPA intramural soccer team. Captain Ray Lee pulled the team together, and what a run they had. They earned second place in the indoor competition. I'm not kidding, second place. It's incredible. However, you have to be first place to get on the Wall of Fame over in Gregory. And so they fell just short of getting their picture up on the wall. So we've decided that we're going to start our own Wall of Fame, and we're going to start it with their picture and their signed team kit. the UT MPA Wall of Fame will be in our conference room. So congratulations. I know they'll inspire students for years to come. Now I have the pleasure of introducing our student speakers. Each year, representatives from the MPA graduating class address the assembly. This year, the graduating student speakers are James Olson and Alec Weissman. Our first speaker will be James Olson. James is an integrated MPA student from Houston, Texas. During his time in the MPA program, he interned with Merrill Lynch and KPMG. In James's spare time, he plays guitar and sings in a rock band, and has even recorded 2 albums. I think he told me today that they're 90% of the way with the second one. And if I could have found it, you'd all have copies under your chair, but nothing is in physical form anymore. So I was trying to get vinyl, and I couldn't find any vinyl. You guys don't even know what vinyl is. So. After graduation, James will be working at KPMG in Houston, but one day he would love to work at DC Comics. I'm not sure that AT&T is audited by KPMG, but so we'll see. You can find James dog watching at Zilker Park, reading comic books, or watching movies. James, join us at the front.
Thank you for the introduction, Steve. And happy birthday, too. Happy birthday. So how's everybody doing? Can everybody hear me all right? All right, if I get too far away from the mic, just start yelling at me and I'll get the message. So my name is Jimmy Olson, and I have to say that it is an absolute honor and a thrill to stand before you all as one of this year's student speakers. That said, I know that the IMPAs have waited 5 years for this moment, and that the traditional MPAs have waited even longer. So I'll try to keep this as concise as possible so we can all get rolling with our day. For the past few years, I've sung the praises of the MPA program to really just about anybody who would listen, and yet inevitably people always ask me, well, how can you like this program so much? It's just math and counting, isn't it? I mean, how interesting could that be? And I won't lie, at times it hasn't been the most exciting major, as thrilling as leases and pensions can be. But that said, I have loved every single minute of the MPA program. Why? Because very simply, it is the perfect embodiment of everything that UT represents. The MPA program is one that truly changes the world. Now, as a bit of background, I grew up in a low-income part of town in Houston. My dad left when I was 2, and after that, it was pretty much just me and my mom. My single mother worked as hard as she could to provide for me, and she did a stellar job. To this day, I don't know how she did it. Without her dedication, support, and motivation, it's hard to imagine still having made it to where I am today. I was the first person in my family to go to college, so getting into UT alone was a big enough deal. But getting into the MPA program, getting a master's degree, these are things that still legitimately shock me. Now, I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to get some sob story across. No. I'm simply telling you all this because my story does a good job of illustrating how amazing our school is. The MPA program is for everyone who is willing to work for it. It doesn't matter where you're from, who your parents are, or what your name is. If you're willing to put in the work, you can be a part of this incredible school and this amazing program. Now, in MPA, you might expect to just find a bunch of nerdy accountants, and you definitely would not be wrong. But that said, everybody here is so much more than that. Everybody has a story. Just to call out a couple of graduates, Todd Brynan has his own sports podcast and has consistently been the friend to always give me the best advice about anything and everything. Miss Sana Moti is a nationally recognized competitor in numerous speech tournaments, and she is the single best friend I have had in this program. As for me, for the past few years, as has been said, I have fronted my own local rock band as a singer and songwriter. You couldn't find any CDs because they can't keep them stocked on the shelves. It's you know, you look at the charts, it's just us. Anyway. Now, when I got to UT, I remember hearing the phrase that what starts here changes the world. And this was 5 years ago. And I won't lie, I had a bit of an attitude back then. I was a little bit cynical. You know, really, me sitting in freshman calculus class is going to change the world? Sure. Okay. But as the semesters rolled by, I slowly observed this incredible world around me. And when I think of just how much my life has changed in these 5 years, it's impossible to say that what starts here doesn't change the world. Because of the MPA program, I have interned with Merrill Lynch. I have volunteered in UT's tax practicum to help thousands of low-income individuals prepare their taxes. I've gotten a job with a multi-billion-dollar accounting firm, and I'm on my way to becoming a certified public accountant. And I guess, at the end of today, I'll be going home with a master's degree from the #1 accounting program in the nation. And that's me, a nobody from Houston. When I got to UT, I was a dork who had no clue what he wanted to do in the world. And now I'm a dork who's ready for anything that this world can throw at me. Now, this isn't me trying to brag or boast, because I guarantee you that every single graduate sitting here has a story and a list of achievements that is just as, if not more, impressive than this. So for all that, I do believe that what starts here changes the world. It has certainly changed mine. The friends I've made, the mentors I've had, the lessons I've learned, these will all stay with me forever. But, ladies and gentlemen, none of us did this alone. For me, it was my family, my friends, and my professors. As far as family, my grandma has always been my moral compass. When I left for college, she told me to keep listening to my heart. That's all I've ever tried to do. For me, and I know for everyone else in my family, she has always been our guide. My Uncle Robert was my sage, the guy I could always call for help and advice. Whether it was relationship trouble, roommate trouble, band squabbles, or just feeling overwhelmed by school, Uncle Robert was always the guy I could call. Uncle Alan and Aunt Yolanda, who live out in California, were always keen to know how I was doing at UT, and so I always made sure that I had something good to tell them about. Similarly, Aunt Joy is someone I don't see enough as I'd like, because she's constantly traveling the world for work. But she's always interested to know what I'm learning here, and how I can use that to change this world that she's seen so much of. Aunt Cindy is the single most positive and optimistic person I know, and that outlook has kind of defined everything I've tried to do here at UT. But above all else, my mom was my motivation. After everything that she did to me, going to college, getting a degree, and doing something useful with my life seemed like the least that I could do. So Mom, this was for you. Thank you. And as for the people here at UT, I've always believed that the better the people that you surround yourself with, the better you'll do. And in the MPA program, you really could not ask for better peers. Whether it was finding out that Joseph Omar got a 95 on the last intermediate midterm, or hearing that Wyatt Hill passed his first CPA exam before the rest of us had even started studying, there was always someone here to push me to do better. And as for professors, it started with my very first accounting class, when I could text Professor Jerry Hayes for help on homework at 11:30 on a Tuesday night, and he would immediately write back to help me out. And towards the end of my time at UT, I had help from more professors. When I was on academic probation last year, and it was 1B minus in intermediate, so, cut me some slack here. But when I was on academic probation last year, it was Professor Johans, who pushed me to succeed in his audit class so that I could get back on track. I got an A in that class, and I've been in good academic standing ever since. And I really don't know if I could have done that without Professor Johans' inspiration and motivation, so for that, thank you. And to the rest of our professors here in the MPA program, I'll say something that isn't said nearly enough, and that is thank you, because our program is only as good as you guys are, and your importance to our success truly cannot be overstated. Now, I know that everybody here has had similar experiences to mine. We all have people we want to make proud. We have all had incredible people help get us here. We've all had our lives transformed by our time here. And in writing this speech, I told myself that I wasn't going to do that thing that so many student speakers seem to do, where they just get up here and give advice to their peers like they know something that we don't, right? But that said, I don't have any advice for the graduating class other than for us all to keep doing what we're doing, because this isn't the end of our journey, it's really only the beginning. And so in lieu of any other advice, that's just my challenge to us. Prove that what starts here really does change the world. Thank you to everyone for listening, and thank you to everyone who got us all here. I wish nothing but success to the graduating class. I know that we'll all make the university proud, and thank you, and hook 'em.
Thank you, James. Our next speaker is Alec Weissman. So before I introduce Alec, when I gave Alec his student award, I also gave him a Minnesota Vikings foam finger, or almost a foam finger. I thought the foam finger would be too obnoxious, so I got a little something more discreet. And you'll understand as I tell this story. I'm a lifelong Minnesota Vikings fan. So, Alec is an integrated MPA from Minnetonka, Minnesota. During his time at McCombs, he served as the student representative for the MPA Department Curriculum Committee, was a member of the Undergraduate Business Council, and was very involved with his fraternity Sigma Alpha Mu. Alec interned with the Ackenberg Group and ExxonMobil before accepting a full-time position with EY's assurance practice in Dallas. In his free time, Alec enjoys watching movies, playing sports, and is a big Chicago Bears fan. I just don't understand. So please welcome Alec to the stage.
Wow. Thank you for the introduction, Steve. I actually remember the last time you spoke to our class. It was a cold, rainy Thursday evening during our Distinguished Lyceum course in the fall of 2017. As I look around at our class today, I think it's safe to say everyone's just a little bit more engaged. Am I right? Fellow graduates, faculty, parents, relatives, and old people who just come to these things, good afternoon, and thank you for coming to celebrate the MPA class of 2017. For the past semester, the students in this graduating class have been quite busy. Our schedule is filled with studying for the CPA exam, working part-time, and struggling to find the motivation to pass our final classes. In all honesty, I'm surprised we had the time to come show up today. But that's the special thing about this class, is no matter what we have going on, and no matter how busy we are, we always find the time to fulfill our obligations. Right now, most of us feel like time is moving at a mile a minute, and it's hard to focus when there are important things to think about, like starting work in the next few months, moving to a new city, or planning what time to get to Abel's before the ceremony tonight. But regardless of these distractions, it's imperative to take a step back and realize our incredible accomplishment. Today we are graduating from, yes, I'm going to say it again, the #1 accounting program in the world. By earning this degree and successfully completing this program, we put ourselves in the best position possible to achieve success in our respective careers. And while we should be so proud of ourselves, it's also important to express gratitude for our experience in this program. I am so thankful to have been a UT MPA student. This program provided us with more than just a world-class education in technical accounting and business. It also taught us crucial soft skills that will enable us to thrive as leaders in this global economy. One of the most important lessons this program taught us is how to earn respect by helping others and taking a genuine interest in their success. We learned this lesson from the people behind me, the MPA faculty. Throughout the past 3 years, we have been fortunate to study under faculty members who are not only subject matter experts, but who truly care about us as well. As a student and as a teacher's assistant, I witnessed firsthand the tremendous time and effort our professors put into improving our everyday experience within this program. The accounting faculty, like us, are very busy people. Outside of teaching, most of our professors work as consultants or conduct research critical to the profession. But despite these various responsibilities, our professors consistently set aside time to get to know us, answer any questions we may ask, and give us invaluable career advice. As a result, the men and women sitting behind me are some of the most admired members of both the UT community and the accounting profession. They're beloved both inside and outside of the classroom and are role models to so many of us. We can follow in their lead by taking similar action in our careers. No matter where we start our first job, we can earn the respect and admiration of our colleagues by helping them succeed, which will lead to our success in return. Another crucial skill we develop as MPA students is how to work with diverse teams. During our time in MPA, we learned from and collaborated with peers from all around the world. I know many of us worked with at least one student from 6 of the 7 continents. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's no student in our class from Antarctica, but if you worked with me, I'm from Minnetonka, Minnesota, and I promise it's the same thing. Same thing. But in all seriousness, our ability to effectively work with people from different cultures gives us a competitive advantage as we enter the workplace. This skill is essential, especially since our country is currently struggling to achieve respectful, meaningful discourse between people of different backgrounds. Thankfully, our experience working in multicultural teams will enable us to succeed both as members and managers of diverse teams throughout our careers. Additionally, we develop the ability to create and utilize a network. Right here in this very room sit a group of future stars. I've been fortunate enough to get to know many students in our graduating class, and I can say with the utmost confidence, you are the smartest people I have ever met. However, the best thing about this group is not just the intellectual ability, but the friendships many of us created while sharing similar experiences in this program. We all remember the collective class groan in tears after receiving our first concepts exam back. We remember spending Tuesday nights of our junior year in the exhilarating Accounting Careers Exploration class. And how could we forget the hundreds of hours that we've spent just this semester listening to Tim Garrity and Peter Sugar Barrel Linto as we studied for our CPA exams. Although some of these experiences may be a little bit exhausting, they brought us closer together and allowed us to form connections that'll last our entire lives. Think about it. Just by being a student in this program, we created a large and powerful network. The simple acts of asking a friend for help in a class, organizing an intramural sports team, and planning friendly get-togethers taught us how to develop strong relationships. As we graduate and move on to our respective careers in public accounting, banking, consulting, and industry, we have a responsibility to maintain and bolster this network. If we're able to do this, we can use the expertise and influence of everyone in this class to help each other achieve our goals and dreams. Whether it's starting a company, leading a new project, or creating an event to benefit our community, the network we built will play a pivotal role in our future endeavors. Now, before I conclude, I want to thank a few people who have had a significant impact on my life. And if I thanked everyone I wanted to, we would be here for another hour, so I have to be brief. I want to thank my friends for their consistent encouragement over the years. I want to thank my girlfriend Sloan for coming into my life this year and being the best friend I could ever ask for. I want to thank my grandparents, Marvin and Lynn Starman, for flying in from Michigan to watch me graduate, again, just a week after my grandmother broke her wrist. It's safe to say she's the tough one in our family. And last but not least, I want to thank my parents, Doug and Lori Weissman, for their unwavering love, support, and generosity over the past 23 years. Thank you so much for helping me become the man I am today. I love you and I appreciate you more than words could ever express. I want everyone graduating today to take a look around you. Sitting in this gymnasium right here are so many people who have played a critical role in this milestone, in us reaching this milestone. I want everyone in the audience today that came here to see someone graduate to know that you are appreciated, and we are so thankful that each and every one of you are here with us today. Yeah. Throughout my speech, I discussed how we can leverage our experience in the MPA program to become successful leaders. As our careers progress, we also have an opportunity to make a positive impact on others. Right now, our country is in need of significant changes. Our country is in dire need of a culture shift. We need our culture to become one that emphasizes caring for one another and respecting those different than us in race, gender, religion, orientation, and personal beliefs. Not only do I fully support this change, but I know it starts right here with us. We can drive this change using the tools we've been given over the past 5 years to not only achieve individual success, but to become role models in our careers, our communities, and our personal lives. Graduating from the best accounting program in the world isn't just something to put on our resumes, it's a holistic experience we can use to make a difference. We have the knowledge and the responsibility to help others learn and develop new skill sets. We have the power to promote diversity by encouraging respectful dialogue between those different than us, and we have the opportunity to use this network to implement strategies that will not just benefit thousands, but millions of individuals throughout the world. I know if we make a concentrated effort to impact as many people as we can throughout our careers, we can make our country a better place than it is today. When I first stepped foot on the 40 acres 5 years ago, I heard that what starts here changes the world. That motto has never been more accurate than it is right now. It's our time to go accomplish our goals and dreams and to help others accomplish theirs as well. Congratulations to the class of 2019. Thank you so much for listening, and hook 'em horns. Thank you.
Thank you, Alec. And now, the long-awaited moment has arrived. It's time to recognize our MPA graduates. Each student will receive personal congratulations from Dean Hartzell and Chair Clement. The university will mail diplomas to each graduate at a later date. Students who have earned one or both of the department's Scholastic Achievement Awards will also receive by mail a certificate of accomplishment signed by Chair Clement and me. These awards are the Dean's Award for Academic Excellence for students with an overall GPA of 3.8 or higher, and the Sommerfeld Scholar Award for students with a graduate accounting GPA of 3.8 or higher. Because these awards are based on GPA, it's not possible to identify until spring grades have been finalized. We will now recognize our MPA graduates.
Emily O'Keefe. Deanna Kilgore. Alec Weissman. James Olson. Sana Salim Moti. Wyatt Hill. Todd Brynan. Brett Winkler. Xavier Al Murad Habib. Sang Park. MJ Sung. Sean Lee.
Justin Grandstrom. Jason Yao. Tom Chan. Nicholas Hap Becerra. Joseph Omar. Fabiola Campos. Greta Saldivar. Vanessa Mattis. Shanil Nurani. Grace Winston. Elizabeth Ann Lindsay. Sydney Hale. Shelby Burgess. Laura Garton. Nasim Katami. Jason Epstein. Adam Shore.
Samuel Chase Hunt. Kyle Shun. Jacob Polk. Tiffany Zhang. Aaron Bold. Shravani Kohli. Sarah Bishop. Justin Gooch. Rachel Chen. Sophia Ding. Katie Walt. Allison Height. Mimi Schneider. Madison Guzman. Chelsea Mancha. Catherine Sierra Silva. Sadie Cuevas. Felipe Eduardo Garcia.
Alfonso Mata Jr. Cindy Olivia Maretha Ung. Julia Liu. Jiaying Han. Florence Sung. Mei-Ling Tan. Nolan Bentley. Victoria Fung. Jessica Ben. Andrew Bramlett. Hardik Sheth. Matt Marshall. Amy Lowe. Elizabeth Hedrick. Isabella Sotelo. Alexa Kenny. Clay Kemp. Jessica Aguilera.
Celeste Guajardo. Alexander King. Katie Scarlett Doty. Rhoda Minderhoud. Madison Danielle Ross Levy. Carl Clark. Lauren Lampy. Che Lee. Joyce Lee. Jessica Chen. Michael Mott. Allison Straley. Eleni Damaris. Claire Whitney. Sarah Stubbs. Sarah Stripling.
Catherine Kennedy. Christina Keneally. Rachel Genrich. Aaron Markey. Elijah Foster. Yancy Pereira. Jihyun Jenny Yoon. Shushin Lee. Yo Chiao Feng. Chao Huang. Chengsen Xiao. Jinglei Peng. Kim Lang Lee. Gabriel Mejia. Chad Wilson. Alec Janisek. Ryan Bateman. John Struther. Philip Chen. Kevin McBrayer. Joseph Milley.
Deary Brooks. Taylor Rafford. Christiana Nels. Ebony Hunter. John Howard III. Young Lee. Jeffrey Hahn. Jesse Chan. Jessica Lee. Rena Chang. Stephanie Jane Sue. Shelley Chen. Monica Grace Sue. Juan Cheng. Sam Breslow. Parker Rosansky. Gary Levine. Scott Dickey.
Adam Landefeld. Elizabeth Lee Cunningham. Ross Newman. John Bugney. Trevor Ashton Carr. Natalie Joe. Mike Ma. Justin Huang. Jess Lin. Hui Yu Lei. Vicky Yang. Rubin Shetty. Bill Pham. Derek John. Surya Suravaram. Gilman Surya. Johnny Shao. Jinsul Jung. Doran Hu. Natasha Pirani. Dylan Mowry.
Madison Ford. Kremi Grigorova. Kara Killingsworth. Ryan Cook. David May. Tina Ting Ho. Sonika Shivan. Monisha Matthews. Elizabeth Morgan. Kimberly Young. Kusheen Yang. Haley Wall. Jacob Duvall. Bradley Redden. Caroline Clay. Mackenzie Holland. Alan Ariano. Adrian Sayuchuk. Trevor Cornell Anderson.
Gabriel Vizcaíno. Rachel Reese. Jacqueline Olafson. Colton Jackson. Chase Rowland. Ruby Liu. Busola Titler. Emilio Seng. Daniel Kussman. Matthew Knight. Kayla Johnson. Colin Lee Robison. Amanda Lanter. Anastasia Graves. Cameron Dykey. Henry Chang. Diane Sun. Sean Zdanky.
Tom Scheck. Sherman Leung. Marin Loki. Reese Nance. Jamie Nichols. Megan Hudson. Benjamin Allison. Travis Monteleone. David Rosenfeld. Jonathan Bowes. William Clift. Ryan Milan. McKenna Lee Hubbard. Thomas Guerrero. Brian Gillespie. Rachel Fletcher. Catherine Reed. Robin Lindley.
Erica Gonzalez. Raymond Guyandi. Nolan Lee. Connie Chu. Yishuan Liao. Weining Tsai. Grant Martin. Erica Gantic. Paige Parent. Maricela Diaz. Dong Wook Lee. Hyung-il Lee. Madison McDonald. Hannah Edwards. Tyler Wilford. Nduduzi Mugoba.
How about them Longhorns? I want to do something that's a little bit unorthodox. Are there any parents in the house today? I have two sons who graduated from college, and I always wanted to give them a standing ovation. So maybe, normally, maybe the parents and grandparents who are here today, if you want to stand and give a standing ovation to your students, that would be awesome. And the thing is, I think we want to show them how rowdy we can be. They think we're like really calm. I think we have to really go for it. I think we want to try to surprise them. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're all very proud of you. You're a great group of students. Now, students, you probably have some people you want to thank also, I would imagine. People who kind of saw you through some of the tough times, and some of them are probably out there in the audience today. So if you don't mind, would you mind giving those people a standing ovation? And show them how rowdy accountants can be. Let's make it loud. All right. So we're almost at the end. Just a few more parting words. So as you entered the program as students, you became a member of the University of Texas community. Now, as you graduate, that relationship continues. Please keep in touch with us. Those of you working in Texas, come back and visit us. We want you to come back and visit us often. If you're going to be far away, your professors would appreciate receiving email from you, or you staying in touch with us via LinkedIn or other types of social media. Our next generation of students really needs you to reach back, and you build on your personal legacy by reaching back to the people who are in the program who are coming behind you. I know I speak for the faculty when I say it's been an honor and a privilege to teach this great group of students. We wish you the very best in your careers, and we hope you have the same fulfillment in your careers that we've had in teaching you. The accounting faculty, program staff, and I congratulate you on your outstanding achievements. I think that's kind of the big part of what I had to say. So we do want to thank everybody for coming today. It is a special day. It's a big achievement. It's a really big achievement, and we're really happy for everybody who's here. We're going to get ready to close the program now, but before we do that, we also want to make sure that there's one other group of people we need to thank. We need to thank the Department of Accounting staff and the MPA program staff for the great job they did in putting this program together. In honor of our graduates and in honor of the University of Texas, we are going to sing The Eyes of Texas. Now, just one quick thing so everybody knows how to get out of the auditorium, right? So I'm just going to give you some quick directions, and then we're going to go for it. Again, we like to show people how rowdy accountants can be, right? Because we have this mild-mannered reputation. So at the end of Eyes of Texas, graduates, you should go out those back doors and go down the steps to the plaza. Family and friends, you can follow the graduates out the doors and down the steps to the plaza. There's an elevator over on the southwest corner there if you're mobility impaired and you need help that way, and so you can take the elevator down and meet us down to plaza that way. And now, the moment we've been waiting for. Can somebody help me sing The Eyes of Texas? Emily's going to help us. So let's give Emily a hand as she leads us in The Eyes of Texas. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.